Across the country are getting ready to start the next big chapter of their life. They now know where they'll spend their residencies.
Yeah, an exciting time. Medical schools like UNMC and Creighton celebrated Match Day in the month of March. And as our Johan Marin tells us, it is a big deal, not just for the students, but for states like ours.
It's still a surreal feeling for soon-to-be Dr. Trey Bukowski.
The Match Day on March 21st, very exciting day, of course. Being there with my fellow classmates and my wife and kids, just having that anticipation to open that envelope and find out where the next step's going to be.
A total of 126 UNMC med students learned about their residencies back in March. It's a moment many like Bukowski have been working for their entire lives.
So I was lucky enough to be matched here at UNMC when family medicine in the rural training track site actually out in North Platte, my hometown.
Bukowski knew he wanted to be a doctor ever since graduating high school. He has a passion to help rural communities. UNMC says this year nearly 46% of students like Bukowski are staying in Nebraska this year to practice their craft. Compared to last year, it's a 5% jump.
They could pretty much go anywhere in the country, but to have almost 40% or more of them choose to stay here is a very good sign. So once they come to the training programs, we try to increase the chances of them going to a rural practice location.
It's particularly significant considering the physician shortage, not just in the state, but across the country.
If you look right now, only about 17% of our practitioners who can diagnose and treat, so that's our doctors, our nurse practitioners, only 17% of them are kind of outside of our larger cities and rural areas.
UNMC is doing their best to get their students excited about medicine and their future careers. And for Bukowski, it's a full circle moment.
To medicine with the end goal of staying in Nebraska and trying to help these rural populations within the state. And that's been really my driving force.
In Omaha, I'm Johan Marin, First Alert 6.
At Creighton's Match Day, 218 medical students learned of their residencies. Out of that number, a total of 16 medical students are staying in the state.